Today I'm going to tell you about the time an entire country lost their minds over flowers. The year is 1636. The place is the Dutch Republic, modern-day Netherlands, and a single tulip bulb is about to cost more than a house. Here's how it started. Tulips weren't native to Europe. They came from Turkey in the 1550s, and to Dutch merchants they were exotic, colorful, rare. But the really valuable ones? Those had a virus, a mosaic virus that created striped, flamed patterns on the petals, completely random, unpredictable, beautiful. And because you couldn't control which bulbs would produce these patterns, they became scarce. Scarcity plus beauty equals value. That's the formula, always has been, even when the thing itself is a flower bulb. At first, it was just wealthy collectors, botanists, people with actual interest in rare plants. They'd pay premium prices for the most beautiful specimens, reasonable enough. But then people noticed. Tulip prices kept going up. And here's where human psychology takes over. If something's value keeps rising, you don't need to care about the thing itself. You just need to believe someone else will pay more tomorrow than you paid today. That's when tulips stopped being flowers and became investments. By 1636, people were trading tulip futures, not actual bulbs, contracts promising bulbs that hadn't even been grown yet. You could buy a piece of paper that said you'd get a tulip bulb in 6 months, then sell that paper to someone else at a higher price. Neither of you had ever seen the tulip. Neither of you cared about flowers. It was pure speculation, betting on bets about flowers. And the prices got insane. A single Semper Augustus bulb, one of the most prized varieties, sold for 10,000 guilders. To put that in context, the average annual income was about 150 guilders. That's 66 years of wages for a tulip bulb. One bulb could buy you a canal house in Amsterdam, or 27 tons of wheat, or 50 tons of rye, or 4 oxen, 8 pigs, 12 sheep, 2 barrels of wine, 4 barrels of beer, 2 tons of butter, 1,000 pounds of cheese, and a bed. People chose the flower. So what was happening in people's brains? 1. FOMO, fear of missing out. Everyone around you is getting rich from tulips. Your neighbor bought a bulb last month and just sold it for triple the price. If you don't buy now, you'll miss the opportunity. Better to overpay than to be left out. 2. Social proof. When everyone's doing something, it feels safe, rational even. If thousands of people are buying tulips, they must know something you don't, right? Except they're all thinking the same thing. Everyone's following everyone else. Nobody knows anything. 3. Recency bias. Prices have gone up every month for 2 years. Your brain assumes they'll keep going up forever, which they won't, because nothing does. But in the moment, it feels inevitable. February 1637. A routine tulip auction in Haarlem. Bulbs don't sell. Nobody bids. Maybe the prices were too high. Maybe someone finally asked, "Wait, why are we paying this much for flowers?" Doesn't matter why. What matters is when one person stops buying, everyone notices. If nobody's buying, the person holding the tulip contract is stuck with it. And if you're stuck with it, you need to sell, fast, at any price. Within weeks, tulip prices crashed 99%. That canal house worth of tulip, now worth the price of an onion. Fortunes evaporated. People who'd mortgaged their homes to buy tulip contracts were ruined. Courts were flooded with contract disputes. Should these tulip futures even be enforceable? They were basically gambling contracts. Most contracts were settled for a fraction of their peak value, or just ignored entirely. And life went on. The Dutch economy didn't collapse. Most people weren't involved in the tulip trade anyway. But the people who were, they learned nothing, because 300 years later, humans would do the exact same thing with houses, stocks, cryptocurrency, and NFTs. Here's what Tulip Mania teaches us about how humans think about value. 1. Value is collective belief. A tulip bulb isn't worth 10,000 guilders. It's not worth anything inherently. But when enough people agree it's valuable, it becomes valuable, until they stop agreeing. Which means all value is arbitrary. Money, houses, gold, art. It's all collective hallucination. We've just agreed not to question most of it. 2. Bubbles feel rational from inside. Nobody in 1636 thought they were being irrational. They had reasons. Tulips are rare, demand is high, prices are rising. All true, also irrelevant. Because they weren't buying tulips, they were buying the belief that prices would keep rising. This is every bubble. .com stocks, housing in 2008, crypto in 2021. The logic sounds perfect, until it doesn't. 3. You can't tell you're in a bubble while you're in it. Right now, you probably own something that's overvalued. Maybe your house, maybe your retirement fund, maybe something you haven't even thought about. You can't know which one, because if you knew, you'd sell, and so would everyone else, and then it wouldn't be overvalued anymore. Bubbles only exist because people don't realize they're in one. So what do you do with this information? 1. When everyone around you is getting rich from the same thing, be suspicious. Not cynical, just careful. If your Uber driver is giving you investment tips, if your relatives at Thanksgiving are talking about their gains, if you feel stupid for not participating, that's when you should be most cautious. 2. Don't try to time the top. The Dutch tulip traders who got out early made fortunes. The ones who waited for the peak lost everything. But you never know when the peak is until it's already behind you. Better to miss some gains than to lose everything trying to maximize them. 3. Remember that value is made up. This doesn't mean don't invest. It means stay aware that you're participating in collective belief. When that belief shifts, and it will shift, you want to be positioned to handle it. Not because you're smarter than everyone else, but because you're not pretending the belief is permanent. So next time you see something's price going up and everyone's talking about it, ask yourself, am I buying this because I value it, or because I think someone else will pay more tomorrow? If it's the second one, you're not investing. You're gambling on collective belief. Which is fine. Just know that's what you're doing.